a cool question, I think, from our guy Tony in the chat. So I want to pull that up. He goes, "You both have $15 million to sign two players. Who are you signing?" So we'll do a Jets perspective on this one. So that's kind of, again, going the bargain bin route slightly here, right? If we're fitting two players under the $15 million, where are you going with this one?
One of them has to be Jermaine Illuminor for me, and I think that's why I found it so funny that you brought him up from the Jets perspective, and he might even be on your list for this one. I think that he probably lands somewhere between 7 to 11 million, maybe 10 is realistic, somewhere in that range, and then the other 5 that's going to Sean Murphy Bunting for me, who we mentioned at the start of the show. Those two signings, I think, address two massive positions of need for the New York Giants, being right tackle and cornerback depth, and you're probably getting both of those guys for under $15 million. So those would be my two answers there for that question. Really good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. It's interesting, right? Because you got to go on a little bit on the bargain bin area. I like Illuminor as well. I'm going to try to go in a different direction though, to give it just a little bit of a change up, but I'll go instead with a guard. I'll go with John Runyon. That's another little Aaron Rodgers Green Bay connection. So Runyon for maybe like $5 to $7 million, and then I'll use the other $8 to $10 million and go backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett will be signed, because that's also going to be a massive need for this team, for the Jets. Last year we saw them pretty much their season got derailed because they didn't have a good backup quarterback option. I don't think they make that same mistake twice. So I'll use my bargain bin shopping with a guard, have AVT out at tackle, and then sign a backup quarterback.
Yeah, the backup quarterback pick was nice. I hadn't really even thought about that, but that's something that both teams need to address. Obviously, the Jets put on full display the value of a backup quarterback this past season, or rather, the detriment of not having one. And the New York Giants kind of struggled with that as well. Obviously, Tommy DeVito stepped in, did his thing for a few weeks. Tyrod Taylor is a solid backup, but it doesn't sound like he's coming back. And all the reports that we're hearing is that the Giants are intent on bringing in a backup quarterback that's more than just a career backup this offseason, was the report in the New York Post. So it looks like they're going to try and sign a guy that they feel comfortable putting out there as the starter if they have to for an extended period of time, whether they're thinking that's just because Daniel Jones is injured and they're not sure when he's going to be ready, or they don't trust Daniel Jones to start all 17 games because he gets injured so often and because he's not that good. They're going to have to find a backup quarterback that's capable of starting a lot of games. So some of the names that I've looked at, Jacoby Brissett was a good one that you brought up. Gardner Minshew, if the Giants really do want to spend a little bit higher, I think he's going to be one of those more expensive backups because he can start you 17 games, as he did this past season with the Indianapolis Colts, was their starter the whole year round. But backup quarterback is definitely going to be a priority for both of these teams.